Hi, welcome to my video on find the equation of a line in slope of y-intercept form, part 1. The equation of a line in slope y-intercept form. For each below, write the equation in point slope form and solve for y. So, point slope form is y equals y1 m times x minus x1. That's a minus sign. So it's y minus 2 m, 3 into x minus 0. So that's the equation through a point with a slope. Now we have to solve for y. So y minus 2 equals 3x minus 3 times x, 3 times 0 is 0. And we solve for y, so the numbers have to move to the right side, and then we get 3x plus 2. Okay, let's try another one. We have a point and a slope. A point slope form is y plus 1 equals slope minus 4x minus 0. And we have to solve this for y. That's the point and a slope form. Solve it for y, so we remove the brackets first. So negative 4 times x, negative 4x. Negative 4 times 0 is 0. And we should simplify each side. So negative 4x plus 0 is negative 4x. And then the y is okay because it's already on the left. And plus 1 moves over to become a minus 1. So solving for y means the y is on the left and x and the constant or the number is on the right side. And here we go with C. We got y minus y1, so that's y minus 8 equals 1/2 times x minus 0. The y minus 8 is okay. 1/2 times x is 1/2 x. 1/2 times 0 is 0. And we simplify each side first. So that's 1/2 x. Minus 0 is 1/2 x. And we're solving for y. So y equals 1/2 x plus 8. We're transposing minus 8 to the right side. It becomes a plus. So notice we took the point slope form and we solved it for y. Means y is on the left and the other terms are on the right, but the terms are x and then the constant as in descending order. From the above, A, the slope is 3 and the y-intercept, notice 0, 2, the y-intercept is 2. In B, the slope is negative 4. And 0, negative 1, that understood to be a y-intercept of negative 1. Because when the x-coordinate is 0, we have negative 1 as the y-intercept. C, we have a slope of 1/2. And the y-intercept is 8, because 0, 8 is a point on the y-axis at 8. Now, okay. Let's look at the new equations that we derived from A. The new equation from A was y equals 3x plus 2. B was y equals negative 4x minus 1. And C was y equals 1/2 x plus 8. So notice the point slope form are now converted to these forms. And you notice that in each of these, let's look, the slope of the first one is 3, the slope is right there. The slope in B is negative 4, is right there. The slope in C, which is 1/2, is right there. So you notice the slope is in front of the x when you solve the equation for y. And notice the y-intercept is 2, it's on the end. Negative 1 is on the end. 8 is on the end. So in this form, really, that 3 is the slope. We can call it m, or we can call it just slope. And the 2 is the y-intercept. So the negative 4 is your slope. The negative 1 is your y-intercept. Half is your slope. And the 8 is your y-intercept. That means this form, we can write it a certain way. Let's name the new equation as the slope y-intercept form. This equation is y equals 3x plus 2, that's the slope y-intercept. Y equals negative 4x minus 1, that's the slope y-intercept. Y equals half x plus 8, that's the slope is a half, 8 is the y-intercept. So this new equation can be called y equals mx plus b. We'll call it b for where m is the slope and b is your y-intercept when you have it into this y-intercept. Spell it right out. So this equation, y equals mx plus b, is the slope y-intercept form, because when you solve it for y, the number in front of the x is your slope and the number after that is your y-intercept. Okay, in following that, y equals 6x plus 4, the slope is 6, the y-intercept is 4. In this one, y equals negative half x minus 7, the slope is negative a half, the y-intercept is negative 7. Y equals 2x minus 1, the slope is 2, the y-intercept is negative 1. Y equals negative 5 over 3x plus 2, negative 5 over 3 is your slope, 2 is your y-intercept. And in this one, y equals 4x plus, well, plus what? Well, it's understood to be, and we don't put it in, that's understood to be plus a 0. So the slope is 4 and the y-intercept is 0. So even though it's not there, the y-intercept is a 0, understood. And right here, that's y equals x minus 6. There's a 1 right there, understood. So the slope is 1, negative 6 is your y-intercept. And this one is not arranged right, so we rearrange it. Y equals 2/5 x plus 3. Notice I'm shift these around to have them in y equals mx plus b. So rearranging it, you have a slope of 2/5 and you have a y-intercept of 3. Okay, let's continue. Slope y-intercept form, very important form in relation to the equation of a line. But the equation of a line has many forms, so that's where we'll keep practicing. State the slope and y-intercept of each. That means you can pause your video and work these out to see if you're right. And when you get them done, check back to see if your answers are right. Number 1, slope is negative 2. Y-intercept 5. Y equals, what is it? Y equals mx plus b. The number in front of the x is your slope, and the number after that is your y-intercept. Y equals mx plus b, 1/4 slope, negative 3 y-intercept. Y equals 7x, slope is 7, and understood to be a 0. And the slope is negative 3 over 2, y-intercept is negative 1. Y equals x plus 6, the slope is 1. 1 is understood to be in front of the x, y-intercept is 6. And we have to rearrange this. Y equals 4x minus 2. We don't change the signs, we just change the order by what we call a commutative property. And it stays on, we didn't cross over, so we don't change the signs, we just change. That's a plus, still stays a plus. That's a minus, still stays a minus. So the slope is 4, y-intercept is negative 2. Okay, let's reverse it. Write the slope y-intercept form of the equation of a line given the slope and the y-intercept. Now I'm giving you the slope and the y-intercept, So let's write the equation. Y equals slope negative 1/4 x, and y-intercept is 2. The slope is 1, so y equals, we would say 1x minus 6. That's a 1 understood right there. I could have y equals 1x minus 6, but the 1 is understood when you don't have it. There's a 1 understood. Slope is negative 2, so y equals negative 2x plus 3. Slope is 7/3, so 7/3x plus 0. And so if I write y equals 7/3x plus 0, because the y-intercept is 0, the add-on 0 is the same. So we normally see this instead of this one. The 0 is not put in. Y equals 4x minus 1. Slope, y-intercept. Y equals negative 4/5x plus 4. So y equals mx plus b is the slope, y-intercept form, where m is the slope, b is the y-intercept. And practice means pause your video and work out these to see if you're right. Here we go. Write the slope y-intercept form of a line given the slope and the y-intercept. Slope is 3, y-intercept is 4. 3x minus 4. Slope is negative 1/2, y-intercept is 6. So it's a negative 1/2 x plus 6. And slope is negative 4, that's the m. And negative 2 is your y-intercept. So notice the slope goes in front of the x and the y-intercept goes after it. Y equals 4/9x plus 0, we can leave it to 0. Y equals negative 1x or negative x plus 3. So I could put a 1, negative 1x plus 3, but again, that's understood to be just negative x plus 3. So either or, the 1 you won't see there. So normally you'll see y equals negative x plus 3. And y equals 1/3 x minus 1. Slope, y-intercept forms. There's the slope, that's the y-intercept. Okay, let's continue. Now, let's write each slope, write each in slope, y-intercept form and state the slope and y-intercept. Note, I'm reviewing again, I have a point slope form. So if this is the point slope form, to get the slope y-intercept, I have to solve it for y. So y minus 1, remove your brackets first, so 2 times x is 2x, 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Can't simplify any further, so y equals 2x minus 6 plus 1. So y equals 2x minus 5. The slope y-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. I have it done. And so the form is y equals 2x minus 5, because you take the point slope form and solve it for y, and your slope is 2, and your y-intercept is negative 5. So you have to simplify this point slope form by solving it for y. So y plus 2 equals negative 1/3 times x, negative 1/3 x. And negative 1/3 times negative 12 is a positive. So 1/3 times 12 over 1. 3 and 12 goes 4. So you get a plus 4. And we're solving for y, so y stays, and the 2 moves across to become a minus, plus 2 minus 2. So y equals negative 1/3 x plus 2. And that's y equals negative 1/3 x plus 2 is your y equals mx plus b. Just write that down. Y equals mx plus b is your slope y-intercept form. So there it is. So in that order, m is your slope, negative 1/3, and your y-intercept is 2. So taking the point slope form and solving it for y gives you the slope y-intercept form. and then you can pick out your slope. But we already know that the slope of this line is, if I wanted to go right away, the slope is -5/4, because this is the point slope form. This is the slope. I can put the slope in there right away, but I don't know my y-intercept. So if I solve the equation for y, -5/4 times x, and a -5/4 times 4/1, 4's cancel, and I get a -5. And solving for y, -5/4x minus 5, minus 4 becomes a +4. So y equals -5/4x minus 1, -5 plus 4. And that's the slope y-intercept form. And the slope, again, is the same as it was there. It didn't change. -5/4. And the y-intercept is -1. So solving the point slope form for y will give you the slope intercept form. Then you can pick out your slope and y-intercept. And again, practice, practice, practice makes perfect. So practice, write each in slope y-intercept form, stated slope and y-intercept. Okay, here we go. Work each of these out. Pause your video and work one at a time, and to see if you get the right answer. If you get the first one right, keep going. If you don't, check back. Here we go. Y minus 6 equals -3 times x. -3 times -4 is +12. And y equals -3x plus 12. Plus 6 becomes a -6 by transposition. -3x plus 6. That's my slope y-intercept form. Again, y equals mx plus b. Slope is -3, y-intercept is 6. So solving this equation for y equals mx plus b. Number 2, y minus 7, half times x is a half x, and a half times -6/1. 2 into -6 goes -3, and that gives me a -3. A half of 6 is 3 and is negative. So y equals a half x minus 3, minus 7 becomes a +7. So y equals a half x. -3 plus 7 is a +4. And y equals half x minus 4. And again, just write it out for you. Y equals mx plus b. So, and this is the slope y-intercept form. The slope is 1/2, which I knew from this point slope form anyway, but the y-intercept becomes 4 in this equation. Again, working the math, do the pencil work, and if you keep working it and solving it okay, everything is great. If you make an error, find out where you made your error. And number 3, y plus 1 equals -2/3 times x. -3/5 times x is -3/5, and then a negative times a negative is a positive. Okay, we got that. So I go 3/5 times 10, and the 10 is over 1. 5 and 5 goes once, 5 and the 10 goes 2, so 3 times 2 is 6. Y equals -3/5 x plus 6 minus 1. When you move -1 plus 1 to the other side, it becomes a negative by transposition. So it's a -3/5 x plus 5. So y equals -3/5 x plus 5 is y equals mx plus b. So the slope is -3/5, and the y-intercept is +5. Again, we knew what the slope was from right here, but what's the y-intercept? Solving the point slope form for y will give you your slope y-intercept form. Anyway, let's practice, practice, practice. Hopefully you know what the point slope form is. Hopefully you know what the slope y-intercept form is. And if you do, great. Working the math with a pencil is excellent. If you like my video, click the like button. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe to my channel. and click the notification bell if you are a subscriber. Write a comment on my video if you wish. Visit my math website at www.mathfullyexplained.com, and you'll find 3 sections. One on me talks about my degrees and teach experience. The section on video talks about the strategy you're going to use to help you learn your math. The section on content has the topics and the number of videos on each of those topics. That's going to be on my YouTube channel. And black font is what's online right now. The red font is what will be there in the near future. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.